Alright guys, and welcome back to the Saints View, the channel of Southampton content for our end of season player reviews. We're on to midfielders now, and let's just get straight into it. Starting off with Oriol Romeu. For me, another one who could be called Mr. Consistent. When he's come in, he's been exceptional for me. Defensively sound in the middle of the park. Shut out by Hughes, and I don't really know why. I think it was more because of the emergence of Mario Lemina, etc, and other players in that era who were sort of fighting him for that place, Højbjerg as well. But I think, especially with Lemina's injury, he's done fantastic. You know, that's why he came in. Let's be honest, it was because Lemina had that injury or abdominal problem, I think it was. He was out for 4 months in the end, and you wouldn't have noticed. I think Romeu actually gave himself a really good sort of shout for being one of the first choice midfielders, actually. Like I say, defensively sound in the middle of the park, wins the tackles. Obviously, we know his disciplinary record isn't great. He's always prone to a yellow card. Hasn't been sent off yet, so that's a positive, I guess. There's not much you can say that's actually wrong with Romeu. He's just solid. He does sort of keep consistent in the side and is able to hold his place. Obviously got a goal this season against Fulham, so I can't really say too much wrong against him. I think the only reason that's stopping him from getting sort of a higher score is the fact that he's played half a season. But for me, I've been very impressed with him, and I'm going to give him a 7. Moving on to another midfielder I've been very impressed with, and I think everyone has, but his form has only really come in the second half of the season since Hasenhüttl's been in, and that is James Ward-Prowse. Story of the season for me in terms of Southampton players. The fact that he was out of the squad for the first couple Hasenhüttl games, was able to get his chance, and since then he scored 7 goals in the league. Is unreal. The fact that he's been able to sort of revive his career, so that even he has admitted that Hasenhüttl saved his career at the club. Because, you know, you looking last summer, we did think, well, when's he going to kick on? It's been a while now. He's been in the club, or in the first team even, for a good number of years. When is he going to prove that he's not just decent at free kicks, but can be the complete player? Because he looked weak. He didn't look like he could sort of fit into the Premier League. But boy, were we wrong. Well, he clearly needed the right manager, and the right manager has come. He also won the Honorary President Award from Terry Payne at the end of the season. Award very much well deserved for his 7 goals. He hasn't got an assist, which I think he will probably think, well, that's clearly what I need to improve on. But yeah, one of the first names in the team sheet now for me. We have to build this team around him and a couple others, because when we have him with Hasenhüttl, he's a monster. Honestly, he's such a threat, and well, long may it continue. But in terms of a score, I have to give him an 8 out of 10. 7 goals, just revitalised his career, hasn't he? Yeah, 8 out of 10 I think is fair enough. Going on to someone who's also featured, but more in terms of off the bench, and that's Stuart Armstrong. Now, Armstrong did come in last summer for £7 million. For me, I think he's very much warranted that price tag. I think he's probably surpassed his value. I think his value is probably surpassed 7 million now. 4 goals for him in all competitions. In about 30 appearances, I think he's done quite well. Obviously, he was never going to be a first choice starter. It never looked like that. But coming off the bench, he makes an impact. You know, forward passes all the time, or the majority of the time. Very good on the ball. His range of passing is excellent as well. Clinical, I'm not too sure. You can't really say that, because I can't really remember him having too many opportunities to shoot. But that goal against Fulham was absolutely sublime. And obviously he got a brace that day as well. So I think for him, he's definitely got his place in the team. Not in the starting 11, obviously, but he's a very good option off the bench. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Going on to a player who hasn't really featured too much this season, but given injury records, that is Mario Lemina. Obviously out for 4 months between around January and April time. Came on after all that time out against Newcastle at the end of April, did score, but we obviously didn't get anything from that game. For me, I'm not too sure where I stand on Lemina. I think for him, he needs to sort of work out his role. Hasenhüttl needs to work out his role as well, because is he a defensive-minded midfielder, or should he played a bit more further up the pitch? For me, I think it's the latter. I think he's more of an attacking-minded midfielder, because when he's had defensive roles, hasn't really fitted, for me anyway. I think when you think of performances over the last 2 seasons, that one against Spurs when we lost 5-2 under Pellegrini, I think that screams why he should not be a defensive midfielder. Obviously, he's got every trick in the book, fantastically skillful and a great pleasure to watch, but he's never He's either really good or really bad, to put it very simply. And I think he needs to work out that consistency and really find his position, because I'm not sure we found it for him yet. So I think out of 10, because he's missed a lot of the season, I'll give him a 5. And some fans have said that he might be sold. I personally agree. I think if we do need to sort of raise funds to buy players, and a £25 million offer did come in for him, I think we would probably let him go. Going on now to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, the captain of Southampton, and what a captain he's been. Honestly, an absolutely exceptional player on and off the pitch. I think everyone forgets the fact that he's 23. You know, he's a clear leader. He adores the football club, who gave him an opportunity to play senior football regularly. 4 goals for him as well. So in terms of attack, he's definitely improved a lot. Defensively, I think he's looked sound as well. The only thing that probably he'll be a bit disappointed with is the 2 red cards, one against Leicester in the very beginning of the season for a dive, and then the one straight red against Man City around December time, a game in which he had scored. So I think if you look at his campaign as a whole, he's been absolutely sensational, though. Definitely one of the first names in the team sheets, and I think Ralph Hasenhüttl will be building his team around a small number of players, and I think he's definitely in that minority. His passing on the whole has been excellent, winning the balls, like I said, tackling superb. I think I have to give him an 8 out of 10. Honestly, I think he's been so good. Clear leader when he's been given the armband over Bertrand when Bertrand was out. Obviously, it's a big shout that he has been able to keep that armband. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Højbjerg. And then finally, not a central midfielder, more someone who's playing on the right or the left. Josh Sims, I'm not really too sure where I stand on him. Obviously, he started the season on loan at Reading, recalled in January because the manager didn't fancy him, which I don't really understand, because he would have thrived in the Championship. I was disappointed that the club let him go on loan in the first place last summer, and I think a lot of fans were. It took him till March to get given an opportunity under the new manager, but I think he definitely took that opportunity against Spurs, changed the game when he came on at half-time, letting us win the football match. And I think for him, he'll be looking at a goal, but he's got a couple of assists now. Should have scored against Wolves a couple of weeks ago. Since then, he hasn't looked amazing. I think he was very poor at Newcastle, but everyone was, really. So I think he's got a chance to be a bench player next season. He obviously won't be very close to pushing Redmond for that first team spot, but I think he's a good asset to have. He's a creative little player who sort of nips around every now and then, who makes himself a nuisance. So for me, only because he's played about 2 months of football, I have to give him a 3 out of 10. That is it for midfielders, guys. If you agree or disagree with any of the ratings I've given the players, let us know in the comment section below. Give the video a like. If you have enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next part for Forwards.